Well, hello my peeps, it's Antoinette here, and today we are going to test out the Dash egg bites. So you don't have to go to Starbucks and pay a fortune, anymore. I mean, you need to stay out of Starbucks anyway. Make your own. I see why they present it this way, because the possibilities are truly endless. Now we're only going to do it 4 ways today only. I'll be eating a lot of eggs. That's okay. I love my eggs. The review for this was by request from my, well, self-proclaimed stepsister, Lori. She's actually my dad's tenant in Austin, Texas. We're on the same email chain every single day, and we become friends and sisters. So Lori, this is for you. It comes with large silicone and comes with 4 small silicones. Now what I will tell you about this silicone is that it's very cheap silicone. I'm sorry to say, the little cookbook recommends that you spray it with some cooking spray. So I thought, well, I'm not going to spray it, see what happens. I mean, it's silicone, it shouldn't stick. But it most certainly did. It was terrible. So I made one of these in the big eye. At first I had to scrape it out of this silicone. Then I had to soak it for 24 hours in my sink. I mean, seriously. And then it went through the dishwasher twice before it really came out clean. I mean, I could have scrubbed and scrubbed it, I wasn't going to. I wanted to see what it took. So, I have to say that the silicone is cheap. Alright, it comes in the pretty mint green color and in the shape of a square. So, yeah, you can tell I've been playing with it all week. All right, let's get started. The star of the show are the egg bites. So what we're going to do today to make the Egg McMuffin is we're going to make a very basic 90-second bread English muffin. It's very simple. And this is, like I was talking about, going back to the basics, because I do like my carbulose flour and yeast English muffins. However, they do contain wheat. So this is your basic keto, back to the basics English muffin. 4 tablespoons almond flour. Next, we have 1 room temperature egg. We have the Argo baking powder, the double acting. If you don't know what double acting baking powder means, it just means that it activates as soon as it hits moisture, and then it will act again as soon as it hits heat, like we're going to do in the microwave. Half a teaspoon, then 1 little pinch of salt. Here I have the violet sea salt from Aldi's. It was $3.99. It was not in my Dave Ramsey budget. Because I'm not supposed to buy anything if I have it, and I've got several different varieties of pink. But I've never seen violet. I couldn't resist. Lastly, we have 2 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream. And that is your basic recipe for an English muffin. 90-second. There goes Buffy. It never fails. Whenever I start a video, she decides to come and eat in the kitchen. That food's been out there all damn day. Then we're just gonna whisk it on up. When I saw this bowl at Vinnie's, it was the only one. But this was the set that I had growing up in high school in the 70s. So I got this little guy, and I'm like, I'll just keep my eyes open. Eventually, I will wind up with a set. So you got your little whisk, and it's as simple as that. You grab a ramekin. This is a 4-inch standard ramekin. Oh, this one's from World Market. We're gonna spray it. 90 seconds into the microwave it goes. Here we have it. It's very hot, but it is quite beautiful. I'm just gonna let this cool down for a second so that I can touch it to get it out. It's out. Isn't it beautiful? You can see it steaming away. As soon as this cools off, I'm gonna cut it in half and toast it. And then we're onto the dash. You take one of these silicone cups and fill it up with water. And what you do is you put it in the bottom of the egg bite maker. That's for steam. We don't plug it in until we're ready to roll. So I'm gonna spray this silicone extremely well. It's very well oiled. And for this Mediterranean style, I'm going to make it really like, you know, a regular old standard over easy egg. So, or maybe we should call this sunny side up because we're never flipping it. There it is into my egg maker. Now, I put it into the bath of water, and now I'm gonna plug it in, shut the lid for 10 to 12 minutes. The English muffin is out of the toaster, and it's all right, slightly dark, but that's okay. I like it nice and crusty. My handy dandy matchbook from 1999 from my wedding. Okay, I only have one of those, but I use it just to prop things up. Pretty amazing. The steam bath does all the work. Living butter lettuce, which is really great. I mean, it's quite beautiful. It's like a rosebud. And you keep a little water down there in the roots, and so it lasts as long as possible. Let's look at it. It depends how you like your egg, but I like mine over medium. Everything is ready to put together, so I just have my holy guacamole. I'm not sure which one this is. This is tableside. It came from Costco, you know, in a variety pack. That's the last one I had in the freezer. And I have some spinach I just took off of the stems, and that wonderful leaf lettuce. And I'm gonna grab this big beefsteak tomato. Yeah, this is like dinner. So this is how versatile all of this is. There are so many things you can do with this little egg maker. All right, let me get the egg out. The egg did come out with not too much trouble, so I do like the egg itself. So this is like not over hard, but not over medium either. But that is great for a sandwich. So, all right, we're gonna try it. This is a monster sandwich, isn't it? It's fabulous. All right, I'm gonna pick it up and take a bite. Ooh, I want to get some of that egg. For this sandwich, I like the egg done just like this. So it's still soft. It's not over hard. But, oh, and with the guacamole and I mean, this is really a great 90-second bread. All right. This is a hearty dinner. All right, I'm gonna eat this, and then we're gonna move on to breakfast. Here is my original 90-second bread, that I had gotten. I have 2 of these from the dollar store, and I just keep the recipe inside. I just thought I'd give you that little tip here. Now, so here's my recipe for the, the English muffin we just had. And then here's the original 90-second bread. I'm trying to think who I got this from. Michelle Burgess, maybe. Had this for a lot of years, and this worked out great. So, the only difference between the English muffin and the actual bread is that there's 2 tablespoons of melted butter in with the 90-second bread, and 3 tablespoons of almond flour. That's the only difference. So yeah, there's butter in the bread, and the English muffin, there is no butter. You have heavy whipping cream, 2 tablespoons instead of the 2 tablespoons of butter found in the bread. All for texture, of course. Depends what you're making. Okay, it's gonna be much easier from here on out. The heavy lifting is done. I've got 4 eggs whisked in my bowl. And then I've got my pinch of purple salt. Whatever you think a pinch is. Okay, then 2 tablespoons of cheddar. I had some Meyer's left over, so that's what we're using. It calls for cottage cheese, but I prefer ricotta, so I got ricotta instead. This whole book, a lot of these recipes call for cottage cheese, but you can replace with ricotta or any other soft cheese you prefer. Then mix it up. There's the broccoli and the bacon in the little cups, which are, very heavily sprayed with the coconut oil spray over there. And then we have the little bath of water, which is required. And then I mixed up our egg mixture and cheese quite well. And I just put it in here so I have a pour spout. And you want to fill it 3/4 of the way. All right, so it looks like one of these will be, that's nice and cheesy. That looks good. So this is a 1/4 cup. Fill it on up. 3/4, because they do expand. Now, I haven't made the little ones yet, but I saw this week how that big one expanded. It expands a lot. So you definitely don't want to, fill them up any more than this. This one's kind of catching it close. I'm going to have quite a bit. I'm going to be making a few batches of this. Well, then I'm out of broccoli. I'm going to check the next recipe because this recipe does not work well unless I put too much broccoli in. This is so annoying. You would think you spend all this money on a kitchen renovation and you can't even get a level countertop. That you have to do this with a matchbook. Oh baby, look at those. Oh, they look fabulous. Alright, I'm gonna take those out. Aren't they cute? Okay, now, in looking at the next recipe, I realize that, okay, I do believe that the amount of the broccoli is incorrect. Because there's a nice amount of broccoli in there, and I think that's as it should be. So, that's all personal preference, I think. But the second recipe, which is the tomato feta egg bites, it's the same thing. I'm cooling down the egg bite maker at the moment, but I do have a new bath in there, and the cups are sprayed. I'm gonna put the tomato and the feta into the bottom, just like we did with the broccoli and the bacon. And we're gonna finish up this mixture. These are nice and cooled off. So I just want to show you how nice and easy they come out. And they do just plop right out like that. And then once they cool down a bit, you can just flip them. From Aldi's, these white cheddar cheese stuffed olives. And these are really good and very keto. So I thought I would do a batch of olive and feta. This is what not to do. It's very easy to overfill these. Don't do it. There are the egg bites, and I used up all of the batter. I have 13 egg bites. Now, I just want to point out, the first broccoli and cheese ones here, they're almost a little overdone, and it's not because of cooking them longer, because I didn't. It's because of them being, more than 3/4 full. They are supposed to be this juicy and pliable. See how nice that is? Especially if you have to heat them back up. But this was so much fun to make. And it's so much cheaper making it at home than Starbucks. In the cookbook, this is the last thing we're going to make. We're going to make the egg size caramel custard. Yes. All right. Beautiful. I mean, these recipes go on and on. Look at this. You can make a breakfast burrito using 8 of the Fiesta bites, which we didn't make. That's basically the peppers. That's this recipe. And then here's that's the tomato feta we made, and the broccoli bacon cheddar. This here, 2 cheesy egg patties. Okay, we didn't make that, but here it is. And it is basically the same recipe, only when I made the egg McMuffin, I used a whole, open-faced egg. And I made it Mediterranean, which is this recipe. This book is just an example of the millions of possibilities that you can make. I'm a bigger fan of this than I expected to be. All right, we're going to make dessert. We're going to make the caramel custard. I mean, there's cheesecake. Look, cookies and cream. I mean, I could use my keto cereal and just shred that up and do that. There's, lemon cheesecake bites. So many ideas. All right. Last one. Before we go on to dessert, look at that beautiful plate. I'm gonna like taste a couple of these. One, what appears to be overdone, too thick, broccoli and cheddar. Really good. Really good. I would really look forward to making the breakfast burrito with a bunch of these. We didn't make the Fiesta, but it could be whatever variety you want. Now let's see. Oh, this one is the tomato and feta. I mean, this is how it should be. It's more kind of like gelatiny-ish. Oh, wow. That is amazing. Oh, that is delicious. Tomato and feta. All right, and then one tiny bite from the olive. So those are my 3 varieties. The olive, it's very good, but I would use minimal olive. My favorite is the tomato and feta. This is really delicious. I'm just gonna finish that whole darn bite. We're gonna find out if this works with keto ingredients. Now, my eggs, they've been sitting here, you've been seeing them. 4 eggs need to go in the bowl, room temperature. But we're gonna find out about the sugar and the milk, because the recipe calls for milk and it calls for sugar. 3 tablespoons divided. I have the water bath over in the egg maker, but it is telling me that I need to line these up on the counter. I can't put them over there yet, because this is going to be very hot going in. In a small saucepan, moisten 2 tablespoons of sugar with 1 tablespoon of water, and do not stir. Over medium heat, boil until the sugar mixture turns amber and just begins to smell burnt. I have the sugar browning, but the recipe is wrong already, because it says 3 tablespoons of white sugar divided. But I need 2 and 2, so it's really 4, just so you know. This is going to be a little bit more complicated, and we're not using whole eggs. I need egg yolks, 4 of them for the 4 cups. So I'm gonna go ahead and separate the eggs, and I get a yolk in a little bowl. In the microwave, I heated up my flax milk to steaming. See the steam? So that was 1 minute, 30 seconds to steam. To my egg yolks, I'm going to add the 2 tablespoons of the sugar, my monk fruit sweetener. So that's where they're off. They have in the recipe 3 tablespoons, but it's 2 and 2, so equals 4. 2 tablespoons in here. I hope it's tablespoons. Yes. Okay. All right, we got that in. And then 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Really running low on my good stuff. It's lasted a long time. Yeah. The price of vanilla beans have come down a little bit, so it could be remade. But at the time, it was my last bottle because they skyrocketed. For whatever reason, that price, I don't know why. All right, now, I'm just gonna mix this, the egg yolks, the sugar, and the vanilla. Then, you slowly pour in the warm milk. I don't see why it has to be slow. I poured it in. I mixed it up. Caramel color. Equally into the little cups. Actually, each one does not get a lot. Alright. I see why they said to do this at the stove, because I'm going to have to share. Now I'm going to get the little cups back to the maker. I'm looking at this bowl, and what does it say for servings? It says makes 10 custards. This looks a lot more than 10. I mean, I have a full bowl. We'll find out how many we get. So look at the results of the egg bite caramel custard. It looks so nice and high, but you cannot do this without milk and without real sugar. So that's an epic fail. I really didn't think that it would work, and it looks like I was right. Okay, well, it does taste good, but you know, it reminds me of that song from the 70s. 3 out of 4 ain't bad. Who sang that? Comment below. It tastes good, but the sugar is coagulating. All right, peeps. This has been a long night. It is. Coming up on 1 o'clock a.m. And this was a great experiment. I actually highly recommend this dash guy. This one. This is fun, and it's great for food prep, and possibilities are endless. Lori, I would say, buy it. Check out. We'll see you next time, peeps.